Welcome back to Spicebox. In this episode of Right From the Start, I'm going to show you a cake recipe. Now, we all love our cakes, and the latest fashion is a red velvet cake. How does it become red? They use food coloring. So instead of food coloring, I'm going to show you this version of this moist fluffy cake that uses strawberry and uses beetroot instead. It's going to give it that color and also the sweetness. Ingredients for this red velvet cake are beetroot, atta. I don't use maida, but I'm going to show you this cake with atta, powdered sugar, baking powder, baking soda, dahi, a little bit of sour curds, butter and strawberry. Before you start making the batter, you got to get a couple of things ready. Switch on your oven. This cake goes in at 180 degrees. So have it preheated for about 10 minutes. By the time it takes us to make all this, the oven will be ready. The next thing is we're going to butter our dish. And the reason we do all of this before baking the batter is as soon as the batter is ready, it needs to go into the pan and go into the oven. So when people say butter a dish, it's simple. You take butter, you just apply it all around, and then you put a little bit of flour. In this case, it's atta. Put a little bit of flour all around so that the cake doesn't stick and it comes out easily. Otherwise, it's a lot of heartache at the end of the whole process. So make sure you butter every corner all around so that none of the cake batter sticks. And once it's evenly coated like that, put in a few spoons of atta. Keep rolling this around and you'll find that the atta automatically sticks. Make sure the whole tin is well coated and put this extra atta back in. We're going to use it for the cake. And that's it. Your tin is ready and we'll make the batter now. So the first step for the batter. We've got baking powder and baking soda. Baking soda is going to go into the dahi and this will what will lift the cake up. So put about a teaspoon of baking soda in the dahi. Just mix it around and you'll find that it starts to bubble up instantly. When it does that, your baking soda is good, you'll have a light fluffy cake. While that is bubbling up, we're going to take the butter. Make sure it's softened butter so it's easier to work with. The harder the butter, the more difficult this process will be. Add in the sugar. And beat until mixed through. So once the butter and sugar is creamed like this, it should just fall off your spoon as you do it. That's the right consistency and we'll start adding in the other ingredients. I'm going to start with beetroot. It's just grated, so it gives us a little bit of hint of taste, but you're not going to feel the beetroot. Okay, then I've got strawberry puree. If you can find fresh strawberries and make it out of that, even better. But otherwise, don't worry, the tin stuff will work just fine. Do you see the color that we're already getting? And this is with natural stuff. It's not with food additives and food coloring and all of that. Okay, once you've done this, add in the dahi. It's bubbled up beautifully. Add that in. When I make this cake at home, nobody realizes that it doesn't have egg, that it doesn't have food coloring. You all say, wow, red velvet. And that's exactly the reaction that we all want. So mix it in and add in the atta. Add it in a little bit of a time so that it doesn't all splash out. And just keep mixing gently. Don't mix it too hard. You don't want to mix atta too much because then it makes the cake a little tough. Doesn't make it soft and spongy. Just mix it in enough such that there are no more lumps. Put in the rest. And at this point, I would put in baking powder and vanilla essence. Now it's important that as soon as we put baking powder, baking soda and all of the activating agents, they get activated as soon as they touch any liquid. And therefore it's important to have your dish buttered beforehand and not be doing it once the dough is ready. Just mix it a couple of more times. Gently mix it, it shouldn't fly out. Get your children involved, it's great fun. Get them to mix it. You may have to hold their hand initially so they don't mix like that and everything goes out. But they'll enjoy the process of seeing the batter come together. Okay, so the batter is done. There are no lumps and this is the consistency that you want. That as you lift it up, it just falls off the spoon. If it's not this liquid, add in a little bit more liquid in the form of strawberry puree or a few drops of water and bring it up to this consistency. So we're going to make cupcakes and a nice round cake out of this. So just pick it up. Remember to fill your molds only 3/4 because it is going to rise that little bit. Fill it up 3/4 of the way. This will make a large 20 centimeter cake, or it will even make up to say 12-15 cupcakes. So the cupcakes will go into the oven for about 15-20 minutes, and the bigger cake will need about 30 minutes. It will just take that little bit of extra time. And the way that you know your cake is ready is when you stick a skewer inside it or even a knife and it comes out clean. That is what tells you that the cake is done. And always stick it into the middle of the cake because that takes the longest to cook. So this is my recipe for red velvet cake, a wonderfully moist red in color cake which is yummy and a favorite in my house. Do try it out in your houses too and let us know what you think of it.